of Cards podcast, the show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit, we've got you covered. Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Woo! Let's go. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here. Happy freaking Saturday. Always a pleasure and a delight to see you guys. Thank you. First and foremost, just let me take a couple seconds before we get too deep into this. And I just want to extend my gratitude. Just say thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for making this an environment where we can all come and serve each other. It's absolutely amazing. It's phenomenal. It's infectious, I think, more than anything. And I'm honored of the opportunity to be here with you guys and to be able to do this and partake. So thank you guys. Freddie Rivas, thank you, bro. Let's go, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Haley Sean. Guys, let me just say something about Haley. There's so much to say. She is an amazing woman. She is an amazing person. She's an amazing mom, amazing spouse, an amazing friend. And being able to get to know her and to see and witness her growth has been phenomenal. Just been amazing. Haley, I just want you to know I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing. I am humbled of the opportunity I have to be able to work with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And by the way, real quick, Haley is one of the funniest people I have ever met in my life. If you guys ever have one of those days when you're waking up and it's Monday and you're like, oh man, I don't want to be here today. Like, go follow Haley. Haley has like some pick me up shit, dude. Like, Haley has some stuff on there. She posts some of the funniest things. She's always got her life could be a movie and it would be super fantastic. She's absolutely hilarious. So Haley, thank you for being here. Good morning to you, and give James a smack on the ass for me. Ken Wilson, good morning, baby. Dude, Ken, when are you leaving for Vegas? When are you heading out? When do you plan on getting there? When is your flight leave? I'm leaving on, technically it's Tuesday morning, but I'll be at the airport in Anchorage on Monday at 6 p.m.-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. So my wife is going to be, she's got to be at work at 7. So she's going to drop me off at the airport. So I'll be there like 7 hours before my flight. I don't know if you plan on flying out Monday night too, or if you're flying out Tuesday or Wednesday. But if you are flying out the same time I am, dude, I've got a 7-hour window, dude, if you want to like chill at the airport with me. Alan, what's going on, baby? Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ken says, is it Vegas yet? Or Vegas Eve? For me, that'll be Sunday night. Sunday night will be Vegas Eve for me. So I'm really excited. Who all, let me know in the comments, who all is coming to Viva Las Vegas? If you guys don't know, if there's anybody who does not know, Chris and I and a handful of our other friends, we are putting on a mastermind in Las Vegas. And this isn't going to be just like any other mastermind. Oh no. This one is full of action. There's going to be some rah-rah stuff in there, but there's going to be some action stuff. There's going to be things in there that we are doing. We are going to be taking so much action at this mastermind, even during the events at night. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for Las Vegas. It's designed in a very, very intentional way where you're winning. You're winning coming out of this. And as a matter of fact, we've even put a guarantee on this thing. Okay, let me repeat that again for the people in the back. We've even put a guarantee on this thing where if you come here and you don't feel like the value is what you paid for, let me just whip out my checkbook and hand you a check back. No questions asked. Honestly, you guys cannot afford to be here. We're almost halfway through the year now. We are getting a lot closer to the summer solstice, which I'm particularly excited about. Now, if you guys don't know, the summer solstice is the longest day of the year, which if you live in Alaska, is kind of a big deal because I have spent the last 9 months of my entire life hibernating in a cave. An igloo, sort of. What's up, dog?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, bro.
Amazing. What's going on with you? Are you ready for next week?
Dude, we were just talking about that, bro. Yeah, I was asking Ken. I'm flying out. I gotta look at. Ooh, Ken says he's flying out on Monday. Ken, what time are you flying out on Monday? Are we gonna be at the airport at the same time? I will be at the airport from about 6 p.m. and then my flight takes off somewhere around 1 a.m. So if you're in there anywhere in that window, let me know, dude. Let's make sure that we're getting intentional. Dude, maybe we might be on the same flight. That would be super awesome. Dude, I'm excited though, Chris. I started going tanning, as you know. I still when I look at my complexion, to me it still doesn't look like I've made any progress. So I'm expecting to look like Mr. Krabs after that first day. I'm expecting by the time we start on Thursday, I'm gonna look like Mr. Krabs.
That is, I can see it, especially with the weather over there. And not just that, it's so funny because I know you've been talking about tanning in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know, you know how like the Facebook or the YouTube or whatever social media platform you're utilizing, some kind of things like they start popping up with different sponsorships and ads. I don't know why they came up with tanning for me, but it was recommended for tanning. So I was like, okay, maybe they sent it to the wrong person. It was eavesdropping a little bit too hard. It was actually pretty neat, the little different advertisements, and not just that, the product they was utilizing, how within 7 hours you can get tan. And what they said, I thought, oh damn, this is legit. they show like I should have forwarded it to you. That's what.
Yeah, you should have. You did not think to send it to the guy who needs the sun more than anybody else.
So I said, I'm trying to get lighter, not darker.
Yeah, well, if you come across it, let me know. Hopefully, you know, the phone people are listening, and you come across that ad again. I need something. I tried doing like because I got a history of like skin cancer in my family. And so I've been reluctant for years to go tanning. And dude, I've been deployed to the Middle East from Alaska before, and I had like 3rd degree like blisters, man, because I had no tan. Like my entire body was as white as my ass.
Jesus.
You know, that's never happened before, unless you live in Alaska. And then you know, went to Hawaii and same thing, dude. Like came out looking like Mr. Krabs. And I was like, hey, I'm going down to Las Vegas. I need to tan. And in the past, I've tried putting on, like, you guys know that lotion that kind of makes you look tan. You just rub it on and it makes you look tan. Have you ever seen that, Chris?
Yeah, Jersey Shore. I seen one of the guys use it.
Oh, is that a thing on Jersey Shore? So
yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. My wife introduced it because she's like, well, you know, then you don't have like, you're not exposing yourself to those rays, you know, run the risk of getting skin cancer down the road. And so I put it on one morning, and dude, it completely just like ruined my clothes. Like the inside of my collars and my shirts and everything were like just all orange.
Jesus.
So yeah, and it ruined one of my church shirts. So I was like, even putting on the fake tan stuff isn't going to help me in Las Vegas. So I was like, I bit the bullet. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start going tanning. And you know, I'm up to 8 minutes now in the stand-up beds.
Is that good?
I don't know
is
if
that bad or is that good, bad? Is that not standard?
I hear they're the most powerful of the two, the stand-up ones. And I think they only go for a max of 9 minutes because they are so powerful. So I don't know. I guess I'm right there. I'm 8 out of 9 minutes. I might go for 9 minutes on Monday and see what it does.
Oh my God.
So Ken says his flight is 8:53 and it leaves at 6:04 a.m. on June 11th. Oh, dude. So I'll already have been in the air for like 5 hours by the time you hop off. Well, Ken, if you're just bored, if you find yourself just bored, and you're like, hey, you know what? I can go spend 24 hours in the Anchorage airport, so I can hang out with Jesse for 6 or 7 of those hours. You know, feel free, bro. That's where I'll be.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Chris James will be getting there on Monday. I'm super excited for this, guys. Again, if you guys have not, make sure you guys go to, I think I've got a banner, actually. Haley says her and Carlin leave June 11th, too. Those guys, those silly gooses, are going down to Florida. Yeah, or don't. Ken says I'm going to do that for sure. Ken's got to go hang out at the airport for 24 hours just so he and I can hang out for 6 hours. That's a true friend. That's a true friend right there, guys. Love that, bro. Love that. Well, any other announcements that I'm missing? We've got Vegas coming up next week. As you guys can see, we've got the banner going across the bottom of the screen. You can get your tickets. I think we might have one left. I had somebody reach out to me. I actually probably should check back with him. I had somebody reach out to me a day or two ago, and we had one seat left because that's all the fire marshal said that we could fit in there legally. So we've had a lot of people reach out to us, and a lot of people are coming and joining, and I'm really excited for it. And the fire marshal was the one who cut us off. So, as far as I know, I think we got one ticket left. So if you guys haven't purchased your tickets yet, you can go to unleashandinvest.com. Get you guys' tickets there. You can get a regular ticket and a VIP ticket. Woo! I always think that says Great Lou. And it's not Great Lou, it's Grady.
Oh,
do you get it?
Great.
Do you get it, Chris?
I get it. I like it.
Grady, good morning to you, my friend. I look forward to chatting with you a little bit later today. Thank you for jumping on here. Thank you for being here, dude. I'm really excited to give Grady a big ass hug. Grady, are you and Ken, or not Ken, Mark, coming to Vegas together? Did you guys get a finalization on that, or? Love you, bro. Grady, baby, what's up, bro? Dude, I love this. What's up, bro? What was up, Chris?
Okay? It's like I'm going in and out on my end.
No, we can hear you good.
Oh no! Don't tell me this is happening. Oh, okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I met Grady in person at Squad Up, and it was phenomenal meeting him in person, man. He's just a very big bundle of joy. He's an amazing individual.
He's a vibrant guy,
Zoom,
for sure.
But outside person, yeah, 100%. 100%.
How tall is Grady?
He'd be there on the top. Grady actually, I think 6 foot. I think he's 6 foot.
Oh, just right there.
Yeah, I think he's right there. Yeah, I think about 6 foot.
Okay. All right. Hey, real quick, how many times do you think you're going to hear? Maybe we should take bets. I would love to have just, I'm not going to mention it again outside of this live right now. We should take a bet, and we should see, because I know when people come up to you, Chris, I guarantee people are like, first thing out of their mouth is, wow, Chris, I did not realize you were this tall.
Yeah. Everywhere I go. So common.
So let's take a bet. Who do you think's going to have more people say that? Me or you? And by the way, folks, Chris and I are the same height.
Definitely me. I can already see it.
All right.
But then again,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have a little internal, not even really competition. It's more for more data collecting than anything. I know that's a big thing. Everybody, like, the first time I meet somebody, the first thing out of their mouth is not, "Hey, it's great to meet you. Glad to be here." It's wow, I did not realize you were gonna be this tall. So I started just telling everybody, I'm like, well, I had a growth spurt last summer. So
yeah, it's gonna be
anyway,
pretty, I'm super stoked about it, and definitely super stoked.
Grady says you're 5'2".
Funny. On a good day.
On a good day. That's what my wife says. 5'2 1/4 with the right shoes. So aside from
hilarious.
Viva Las Vegas coming on, Chris, is there anything before we even move on? Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything anybody else should know that are coming to Vegas? I know we've got some VIP stuff that we're going to be doing exclusively with those individuals. I was showing my wife some of the stuff that we have going on YouTube yesterday, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's sick as hell."
I'm very excited about the VIP stuff we're doing. I think this is that. Now I've been to a lot of events. I've been to a lot of masterminds. I've been to a lot of different things in the real estate space from multiple people. But I really, really, very proud of what we have done for the VIP and just this overall event. I'm very stoked about that. Especially the events that we got going on. Yeah. And actually, there was one event that we actually added to the VIP, Jesse, late last night. So
I don't even know about it?
Yeah, you don't even know about it. So
I see Angel in the comments. Okay, Angel, I can't wait. Does Angel know about it?
Yes, because he was on the phone. We had the conversation with. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. We'll talk offline.
Angel, text me. Text me right now. I have to know. I have to know what's going on, Angel.
Let's just say it's someone very famous, well known.
Tom Cruise. Man.
Woo,
let's go. Tom is in the house. Talk to me, Goose. I love it.
So,
Angel, that's so funny. Amazing. I'm pretty excited about this. This will be awesome. At the risk of sounding arrogant, Chris, I feel like this is definitely one of those, like you said, when you look at everything else that is out there, this is absolutely hands down an under promise and over deliver scenario.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
I'm really excited for this. I've got to go.
100%.
I got to go to Men's Warehouse later today in Anchorage and get something nice to wear. And do I bring shorts? I don't even know. I'm a couple days away, and I got to go pick out a wardrobe. If anybody has any ideas on what it's like to live in hot weather, please let me know what I should wear. Chris, what are you packing besides your Speedo?
I got an idea.
Chris, by the way, guys, you guys don't know this. Chris has a Speedo. He showed it to me, not on, but he just held it up to the screen and he showed it. He's got this bright. I guess you'd call it like I don't know if it's really red, but I guess I just don't know the color. We'll just call it red. It's like an off shade of red. And on when you turn it around on the ass, it says Tiny Dancer and like this arc. So. Chris will be bringing his Speedo to the pool. You guys will get to see that as well. I'm excited. Jeff McGrew says shorts for sure. Okay. So shorts for me and Speedo for Chris. Got it. I'm writing that down. All right, it's going in the logbook. Okay. Anything else? Any other announcements, Chris, for everybody aside from Vegas? Can you hear me?
I really wish I could hear what you're saying right now. The phone's going like out of. It's breaking up really bad. I'm like,
Chris is just looking at the camera and smiling.
Like, damn, please make it out.
Dude, that's hilarious. Okay, all right. You let me know when I'm not breaking out anymore. So I don't think we have any more announcements.
No, you're
guys.
good. You're good now. You are good.
Oh, I'm good now. Okay, cool. Any other announcements that I'm missing other than Vegas?
Let's see. There's a couple of things coming up towards the end of the year, which we, I don't want to announce now until we officially put that together. But yeah, okay. Vegas is coming up literally next week. There's a couple other things that we're working on right now specifically. I think we're probably going to announce that not next week, but the following week to let everyone know exactly what that looks like and see if they want to be part of. And we got a couple of different opportunities that we will be presenting in the future. So we're pretty stoked about that as well.
Absolutely. Dude, we've had one of the things that's been on my agenda for next year, one of my goals is to write a book next year. And in that book, there's going to be tons of deals and breakdowns and examples. We actually had a deal that we are going through right now, guys. Actually, as a matter of fact, Chris, I think it was last week you stopped this property from going to auction just minutes before it was supposed to get auctioned off, right? So this is one of those things where I'm gonna assume Chris can't hear me.
I literally
Chris,
just turned my
Chris
Wi-Fi
can't
on
hear
and I heard Chris. Okay, I just turned the Wi-Fi off. Can you hear me now?
Oh shit. Okay. We can hear you.
back.
We can
I'm
hear
back.
you. You can't hear us. So Chris and I are doing a deal, and our team stopped a foreclosure. And like Angel said, with 47 minutes to spare before this thing was to be auctioned off. Now, Chris, this bank is also in the know that this is a creative deal. Have you ever seen or heard of anything like this before? Because this is the second time now that the bank has been in the know of you and I doing a creative deal. And they have not done anything about it.
Yeah, this one was very interesting because it's a well-known bank. You know, the first one you and I was Wells Fargo. It was Wells Fargo, well-known bank. Everyone knows who Wells Fargo is. In this particular situation, this was PennyMac. I mean, I'm sorry. Why did I say Penny? I'm thinking about PennyMac. I'm sorry, Carrington. It was Carrington. So Carrington is well known, and more so, it was very interesting talking to the loss mitigation department all the time. So the funny part about it, this particular one, I didn't even have a full conversation over the phone. Everything was done via email.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Twitter. Okay, via email.
I was going to say OnlyFans, but I didn't want to.
Is that through the OnlyFans
they
chat?
said approved. Auction stopped immediately.
I saw that Speedo.
But so literally, that's the amazing part about it, because everything was done through email. So of course, through via email, you have a track record. You have the communication piece from the beginning all the way to the end. Now, one thing about this specific one, the seller unfortunately lost her mom in 2016. She lost her father in 2021. So she lost both of her parents. So the house is more so was kind of, you know, not hand me down, but gifted to the siblings, the heirs, which was herself, Aaliyah, and two other brothers. So we got three heirs in the picture, and they don't really want nothing to do with the house. Initially, when the buyer brought the property to us, told us about the situation, and told us literally we had 4 days. 4 days, guys, that it's crunch time. And now, mind you, 4 of those days, 4 days, 3 of those days were business days. That's not really a lot of time to drop every single thing you're doing and really hop on the phones and gather all the information that's really needed from the seller, the buyer, and making sure you have a great attorney or escrow officer who will understand exactly what needs to be in place. And what was great about this specific situation, everyone was very responsive. Everyone.
That's one of the most difficult parts, man.
It's absolutely. So, and more so paperwork, right? Now, it's great to have all the communication and understand exactly what's needed, but if everyone don't sign all the documents that's needed to support what we're trying to do or execute, it kills the deal. It kills not just the deal, but the time. Time is of the essence for these specific transactions. And this particular one, when I say I was very proud and very thankful and blessed just to have more so be surrounded by, you know, the team we have, right? And just the buyer, the seller, just signing off the documents right away and getting back to us immediately, getting things notarized, getting things right. It was amazing how quick everything was turned around. Now, it did get kind of hairy. Literally 43 minutes away from the auction, and you know, we're still in communications with the the Carrington, the loss mitigation department, trying to really understand exactly what's going on. Loss mitigation literally looped in trustee's attorney on the email. There's a lot of different things that happened on that specific email where I had to be very strategic on the way I was communicating. And more so, even there's questions that was asked. There was questions in the email asked, hey, I see this is happening on the seller side. Why is that? Or, hey, why is the buyer doing this? Why is this not adding up? It was crazy how you had to be strategic, because if you said the wrong thing or reply back with the wrong answer or response, I kid you not. We would not have stopped that auction. So when, Angel, I saw Harry's a great person to know. That's what, guys, build relationships with your attorneys. Build relationships, not just make it transactional. Understand exactly on a level. No, don't just, it's great to, I work with Harry Myers, but do you have do you have the attorney's number? Do you, the cell phone number? Do you have this, and this in order to understand specifically what's really needed? But in this particular case, when I say everything that happened, I know for a fact that we would with another attorney, this would not have occurred, or we wouldn't have got the information we needed and or the documents that we needed from the actual attorney. Because crazy part about it, Harry was on a vacation. He was on vacation. He was not even in his office when all this was going on.
Wow.
And he was giving us the documents that we was asking for. So when he provided those documents, I'm like, this is phenomenal. We need this, we need that. And he was doing the best while he's on vacation is still try to help. Now, what attorney will really do that? If let's be honest, once 5 o'clock hit on the Eastern Standard Time, attorneys are gone at 5:01, whether they're in office or not. They're not answering their phones. So it was pretty neat. But working with Carrington and not just the interesting, out of everything I just mentioned, they saw the HUD statement, and the HUD statement said subject to all over it, and they approved the auction to be postponed. I'm like, this really just happened.
Wow.
This really just happened. Even with the questions, they had every right to ask all the questions they wanted. They had every single right. I did have to take time to like, okay, should I respond this way, or how should I respond? Do I say this? Do I say that? But I was very strategic the way I responded, because I know for a fact if I respond and just say, oh, yep, that's what's happening, or no, that's not, this is happening, house would been gone. The sellers, the heirs, I should say, would unfortunately, not receive the monies that was guaranteed to them. So now the buyer has the opportunity more so to make a little bit of money as well. The sellers can get the agreed upon monies they agreed upon with the buyer, and we extended for another 45 days. And literally all they need is less. They need like 2 or 3 weeks. That's all they needed. But
Wow,
it's pretty neat how even one of the responses, I know I talked about this a couple in our private mentorship, about when you're doing foreclosures or handling those kind of conversations, you want to get the most allowed time. Sometimes, 60, 90 days. But in this case, perfect question that Carrington asked us right in the email: how much time do you guys need? I could have easily stated, I just need a week. However, in this case, I said we're shooting to close towards the end of the month. However, give it, take holiday, whatever the communication looks like, but you got to keep it open. I could have said I just need about 60 days to make sure this is going to be closed successfully. However, I know for a fact we didn't need that, because the buyer was going to wire the funds within the next few days either way, because they're going to do a novation on the specific property. They're going to reinstate the property and do all the extra stuff that's needed to move forward and get the property rent ready to put it on the market, because the numbers are there. But it was nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It was very nerve-wracking. I just realized, looking at the camera, I'm like on the opposite side. I don't like that. Like an opposite.
It flips it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. But yeah, it was very great. I really thank everyone that played a part in it. I am very blessed. I was even praying about it. I'm like, please let this go through. Because I wanted this the more so, not just because of the buyer, because of the seller. They're in a situation, they didn't want this house, right? They didn't want this house. They didn't expect their parents to pass away. And talking to the main point of contact, she even said some of the money is actually going to help one of the brothers that's actually in college. And he was on the urge of dropping out because of the money. So I thought that was pretty neat, more so. And she was very, very, very humble about this situation. She couldn't thank us enough. And not just that, the funny part about it, I don't know what happened this week, but it's been a foreclosure week. Nothing but foreclosures. I believe we received 4 foreclosures. One was in North Carolina. 2 was in California. And guys, California is difficult itself. So North Carolina, 2 in California, and then more so the last one, which I'm very proud of the team with, is Florida. I'm like, it's great that it feels good when you can stop the foreclosure, but don't get me wrong. I tell everyone, I said our success rate of closing a deal and or stopping the foreclosure and or postponement is great if all parties are responsive. All parties are responsive. Now, are there new things that may develop? 100%. However, we need to attack it at that specific time. So, it definitely put me in pushed me out of my comfort zone, I should say. Definitely pushed me like, damn, this is really happening. I need to make sure this is done. This is done. I got to make sure all my ducks in a row on this specific one, make sure this is happening. And then bam, let's get it to the finish line.
Dude, let's talk about that for a second, if you don't mind. Today's thing, I wanted to talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. And I wanted to go through 3 different steps for overcoming these limiting beliefs. Now, before we get into that part, Chris, talk a little bit about some of the limiting beliefs that you had before you got into real estate. Talk about some of the limiting beliefs that you have had after you got into real estate. And when you incur scenarios like this, do you still have like limiting beliefs around certain things? But despite those limiting beliefs, you still continue to press forward. Uh-oh. Either I froze or Chris froze. He looks good though. That was a good picture for him to freeze on. Guys, can you guys hear me? Or do you guys hear Chris? He froze. Devin says he froze. Okay. Okay. You never know. Oh, there he is. He just disappeared. Okay, cool, guys. So I want to talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. I know we all have them. Everybody has them. We all go through this. I had Kevin on. Me and Kevin and Chris did a Zoom not too long ago. And this is something that I go through with my clients. And this is something that we also went through on a Zoom that we did recently. And it is something called the emotional cycle of change. Now, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to talk about that today because that'd probably take another 30 or 40 minutes to properly walk you guys through that. So I'll let you guys Google that if you want to look and see what that is. It's called the emotional cycle of change. And it's very important for every entrepreneur to understand what that is and why it's applicable. Because we all have these thoughts. We all have these emotions as humans. That's what separates us from everybody else, is our ability to cognitively think, to change our identity. Nobody else can do that. No other thing on this earth can do that. We can change who we are. We can change how we think. And as humans, we have we go through this cycle of emotions. And that's why it's really interesting, because when I first started out, I had these limiting beliefs of, well, I can't do that. I can't go make $100,000 a month, let alone $100,000 a year. It's like, bro, I'm just trying to replace my W-2 income. Does anybody else resonate with that? Is there anybody else that's like, oh my gosh, like I keep hearing that I need to shoot for these big goals, and I need to do these big things, but good golly, Miss Molly, I just don't feel like I have the ability. I don't feel like I have the know-how. Excuse me. And for a lot of us, it can be crippling. Give me 1 second. We slip into something called analysis paralysis. And when we slip into this analysis paralysis, it keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us from doing the thing that we know that we should be doing, from doing the thing that we know that we're capable of doing. One of my all-time favorite sayings is, you cannot learn how to drive a parked car. And when we have these limiting beliefs, there is a thought process. There's kind of these stages. And so I want to take you guys through, excuse me, through 3 different steps when it comes to overcoming these limiting beliefs that we have. Sonja says, I'm raising capital for a fix and flipper that needs $600,000 to purchase and renovate a property in a hot market in California. Looking for lenders. All right. If any of you lenders are out there, you want to work with Sonja, please get a hold of her. She's a wonderful and beautiful person. Thank you, Sonja. And by the way, guys, that's what this platform is for. In case you guys didn't know, that's why this whole thing is called House of Cards. Chris's idea. So genius on this. It's called House of Cards because just as Chris just got done describing, you never know what hand you're going to get dealt. You see the metaphor here with the cards? In real estate, you never know what hand you're going to get dealt. So this podcast serves as a place where you can come and you can stack your deck. You can mitigate your risk, amplify your relationships and opportunities. So if you guys have things that you need, put them in the chat. Let me highlight them for you. Let me help you guys any way that I can. So step one, I'm going to try this real quick. We're going to see how this works. I went and bought this whiteboard. I went and bought this camera. I want to see if this works. There it goes. You see it looking for the whiteboard? Oh, I see what Chris is talking about now. It's showing up backwards on my end. Is it showing backwards on your guys' end, or can you guys read it? Okay. Now I fixed it on my end. Okay. Overcoming limiting beliefs. So I want to take you guys through like a 3-step process for overcoming these limiting beliefs. Let's see if I can. Okay, identify and acknowledge your limiting beliefs. Now, some of the things to go along with this, we got to recognize our negative thoughts and beliefs that hold us back. For us to even be able to start moving forward, we've got to be able to recognize that we're even having these limiting thoughts and beliefs. You guys ever had, I've talked about this all the time. When I first got into real estate, again, I was always taught to go make $100,000 a year. Like that was always the example. That was always the mountain that I was told to climb was $100,000 a year. So when I hear that it's possible to not only make more than that, but to do that in a month, or do $250,000 in a month, or $500,000. It's like, there's no way. I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. And then we have a kind of a battle royale of sorts in our own head. We have this internal dialogue that tells us that we can't do that, or that we shouldn't do that. We have thoughts and feelings of we're not good enough. I know some of you guys, know when I first started getting into real estate, I mean, I'm up here in Alaska. Running a business, any kind of a business, let alone a real estate business from Alaska, is like trying to run a business from Mars. There's nothing up here. All of my partners are all virtual. Chris is in New York. He and I have only met one time. We met one time in person. Our entire team is virtual. Yeah, Angel in Kentucky. James is in New Mexico. We've got the entire United States panned out here. Before I had the fortunate what's the word I want to use here? Before I had the great fortune of meeting these individuals, and I was trying to figure a lot of this stuff out, especially when I first got started, I had all sorts of limiting beliefs, especially being in Alaska. I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. You're in the military. Why did you spend all this money? Why did you think you could do it? I don't know about any of you guys, but when I first got that bug, when I read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then I had a friend reach out to me later and say, hey, have you ever thought about getting into real estate? And as I started to look more into that, this goes kind of back to that emotional cycle of change where you start out at stage 1, which is uninformed optimism. So that's that stage where in your head, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah, of course I want to be in real estate. I started introducing myself as a real estate investor. But then I started having these thoughts of like, wait a minute, dude, you haven't even done a deal yet, bro. I was like, oh man. And then I would like sink into these negative thoughts and patterns and behaviors. And then I would stop cold calling. I would stop doing all the things. I would stop networking. I'd stop posting because I'd have that one thought, and that one thought would keep me from doing the thing that was actually going to get me closer to what I was trying to do. I'm going to share something with you guys. And if you guys have watched any of my content or any of my lives or anything like that, it's probably something you guys have heard me talk about before. But it is so worth repeating because it has been one of those things that has served as an anchor for me. It has served as something that continues to push me forward despite my limiting beliefs. You have to first identify and acknowledge that, hey, you know what? I do have limiting beliefs. And that's okay. But it needs to stop there. We need to be able to identify it. But it needs to stop there. Because then we can't continue progressing after that. If we continue to say, well, I just don't get it. I just don't understand how this is possible. I don't understand how I just fit in here. Identifying it is okay. I have all of my clients journal for this exact reason. It's a way to get these thoughts out on paper. You can't identify and acknowledge your thoughts or why you're feeling a certain way if you don't even really know that you're doing it. We have upwards of 80,000 to 90,000 thoughts in one day, in one 24-hour period, guys. So think about where you are and think about the way that you feel about certain things. The way that you feel about certain things, does that cause you to take more action or less action? I read something recently that talked about how successful people, it's not like they don't have these limiting beliefs. It's not like they don't have bad days or they don't have these negative emotions. We're human. That's part of just being human. But where somebody might have a bad week, Now think about that for a second. When somebody has a bad week, how much are they actually getting done? How much does that thought process anchor them? How much does it paralyze them? When you have a negative thought or negative thoughts, or you have these limiting beliefs that surround what you think you should be doing or are capable of doing, that'll paralyze you for an entire week. And then that next week, you might start to reframe, or you might start to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should do something. Here's the difference. The people who are successful, it's not that they don't feel those things. Where somebody would have a bad or a negative week, a successful person will have a bad or a negative 15 minutes. They feel those things, but then they are very quick to solve those problems. Despite whether or not they think they can, or think they should, or think they have the ability, simply they just take more action than anybody else. I just want to share with you guys, as somebody who's going through my own journey, somebody who's been where you guys are, there isn't this. I used to think in order to be successful, like there was just a piece of information that I was missing. There was something secret that they know that I don't know. Maybe they're working a secret market. And really, it's just the fact that they just take more action. Like it's these internal things, building these internal skills. That's why self-development is so important. One of my favorite sayings is, your income will never exceed your own personal development. So when it comes to limiting beliefs, successful people, they know how important it is to identify and acknowledge those feelings. And then they'll go in a little bit deeper. I'm like, well, why am I feeling those things? What beliefs do I have around those certain things that make me feel this way? And again, guys, there is nothing in life that happens, no event, the power goes out, you get in a car wreck. Like, there's nothing that happens in life that is either positive or negative. Okay, they're just events. They are absolutely neutral. It is thinking that makes them positive or negative. That's it. What a concept, right? Let me repeat that again for the people in the back. There is no event in life that happens. A loved one passes away, something tragic or horrible happens, something that's an inconvenience, you're late for something, construction's on the road, whatever. There is literally nothing positive nor negative that happens in life. People move away from your circle. You lose friends, you lose family. You also have people that come into your circle. You also gain friends. You also put together a new family. I have gained a new family as well. Angel is my family. You guys are my family. Chris is my brother. James is my brother. Angel is my sister. Haley is my sister. These life events that happen to us, they're neither positive nor negative. It is thinking that makes it so. So when it comes to being stagnant because of your guys' limiting beliefs, and not just you guys, me as well, I have my own limiting beliefs. It is thinking that makes it so. So we can start to begin to understand ourselves and our thinking and our emotions, because the way that you think about something will determine the way that you feel about something. The way that you feel about something will determine the action that you take. If somebody cuts you off while you're in traffic, you'd probably be pretty angry about it, because that's how you feel, because that's how you think. You're assuming that they're being an asshole. So because you have those thoughts, because that's the way that you think about the world. Okay, I'm going to call this somewhat of a victim mentality here. It's everybody else's fault. because that's how you see the world. Somebody cuts you off. Somebody does something to you that's terrible. Don't be a victim. That's a victim mentality to have. If somebody cuts you off and you just assume the best intentions from that person in your head, you just assume the best intentions. You say, hey, you know what? That person might be just on their way to the hospital. They might be late for a job interview. They might be whatever. You can just easily reframe that to a positive scenario as you can, just assuming that they're doing it just to be an asshole. And the way that you think about that, the way that you identify that, the way that you see that happening is going to determine the way that you feel about it. Now, if your automatic response is, hey, you know what? This guy is just late for something. He's on his way to the hospital. He's on his way to a job interview. Your emotions around that scenario now diminish. The negative ones, the negative emotions, they diminish. They're away. And they allow you to think. They allow you to take action in a positive way. You become a much more happier person. And when you're happier, tell me somebody who's in a positive and an abundant and in a highly energetic state, who's also in an anxiety state. Those two things conflict. Can't be. Can't happen. You guys have probably heard people say it's so important to remain in the present. You guys ever heard that? Put a comment if you guys have ever heard somebody say that to you. It is so important to remain in the present. Why do you think that is? Because in the present, you can be happy. You can be present in that moment. You can squeeze every little ounce of energy and love and abundance out of that moment. When you're worried about the future, when you're worried about the past, the future causes anxiety. 85% of the thoughts that people have about the future that cause them so much anxiety, that shit never happens. 85% of those thoughts that you think is going to happen in any given scenario, they never freaking happen. Studies have found. 85%. That is an astronomical number. So think about what you guys are worried about in the future. Think about the things that you want to do, but the limiting beliefs that surround that. And tie that in with knowing that 85% of the things that you're thinking about and worried about in the future that are causing you to stagnate, that are causing you to feel a certain way around these beliefs, are never going to happen. You can't learn to drive a parked car. You have to take action. This is step one. Again, this is why we journal. Step one is identifying and acknowledging your limiting beliefs. Write them down. Make them tangible. When you write these down, you make them tangible, and now they are easier to confront. So step one, again, guys, identify and acknowledge. Write down what your guys' limiting beliefs are. We can't confront them. We can't begin to change them unless we can identify them, unless we can acknowledge that this is it. This is the thing. This is why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. Let me go to the comments real quick. Haley said, when I have a bad day or aren't sure what I'm doing is working, I just force myself to do it and keep telling myself this is going to make me. That's a lot of. I can't do math without commas in there, Haley. Was that $104 million, $749,494 or something? It works. You're not always going to be doing the right thing, but you have to be at least doing what you believe is the right thing, because that's how you improve. You know what, Haley? Thank you for this comment. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take it a step further. I think a lot of people, when it comes to these limiting beliefs, and this is something I've gone over with my clients recently as well. A lot of people, again, they're worried about the future. They're worried about what's going to happen. We have these limiting beliefs that become crippling for us. They're worried about failing. And they're worried about making the right choice. I want to take this a step further. And thank you for putting this in there, Haley. This is so great. I want to take this a step further. Just do it. You're not always going to be doing the right thing, like Haley said. Stop worrying about whether or not you're making the right choice and just take that step. Take action anyway. And whatever direction you go to, go all into it. Take all that mental fortitude and energy and abundance and positivity. Do everything despite those limiting beliefs. Jump into it head first with courage, with integrity, with the character of the person that you are capable of becoming. You don't have to make the right decision, guys. Write this down. You do not have to make the right decision. But you only have to make the decision right. Let me repeat that again. You do not have to make the right decision. You have to make the decision right. Silly example. This happens all the time. Should I go to Yale or Harvard? Well, who's to say which one's the right decision? So you make one, you go to Yale, and let's say you have a shitty time at Yale. Then we get bogged down with all these negative emotions. And we're like, oh my gosh, I should have gone to Harvard. I would have had a much better time at Harvard. You don't know that. You do not know that. So when you make that decision, when you take the plunge and you decide, hey, I'm going to go to Yale, you have to make that the right decision. There is no right decision in this scenario. Yale or Harvard, doesn't matter. Make a decision and then make that decision right. To have the Snickers bar or not have the Snickers bar. Well, I'm super, super hungry, but then if I eat the Snickers bar, then I'm going to go over on my calories. Okay, so what can we do with that decision to make the decision right? Well, I can eat the Snickers bar, then I won't be hungry. But then what can I do to just go burn those calories off so it cancels itself out? Would that not be a logical solution of making a decision? There's no right or wrong decision. You just make the decision, and then you have to say, okay, here's the consequence. So when I make this decision, what are some of the things I can anticipate moving forward to make the decision right, to make it the right decision? Stop being a victim. That's another conversation for another day, but I want to add that in there. Stop being a victim. Sonja says, I used to get angry when someone cut me off. I don't anymore because it takes my energy. I'm not bothered by others' bad behavior as long as I'm not in danger. I love that, Sonja. I'm glad that you used the word energy in there. When I was early on in my entrepreneurial endeavors, I used to hear people talk about how important it is to conserve your energy and conserve your energy. And that's something that I never understood. And the more that I've got into this, like Chris said, real estate is one of those things. It's unpredictable. You never know what hand you're going to get dealt when it comes to real estate. Your business is going to take turns that you have never anticipated. It's hard being a business owner in general. It's hard doing real estate. What is the result that you're after? You will never save your way to wealth. You'll never work your way to wealth. So there is a trade-off. These things right here, these things that we're talking about, the work on yourself, that's why this is so important. I wish I would have understood this when years ago. Because in my mind at the time, I was like, conserving energy, that is stupid. I need to just hit phones and I need to call. And in my mind, that was the priority. That was the money-making activity. Little did I understand that understanding these things will allow me to have a much bigger picture, understanding my own limiting beliefs and what I think or what I think I can or cannot do is huge. Had I done this, what we're talking about right now, years ago, I never would have had to put myself in the position of cold calling. Because despite my limiting beliefs of saying, oh, well, I'm not up here yet, I'm down here, so this is what I have to do. As opposed to writing these down, identifying and acknowledging them so I can get past them. It would have gotten me so much further ahead than putting myself in a position of cold call, cold call, cold call, cold call, because that's what I have to do. So, all this to say, step 1, identify and acknowledge your limiting beliefs. 2, hopefully you guys are writing these down with me. Hopefully you guys can read my writing. Okay. Challenge and reframe. Any ideas? Let me know in the comments. Any ideas on what you guys think this means to challenge and reframe? I love Angel's comment right here. Some limiting beliefs are obvious. Others will creep up over time. Absolutely, they will. Be diligent in resolving them when necessary. Giselle says, been listening on TV. Thank you. Thanks for listening on the TV. Thanks for being here, Giselle. Chimed in on my phone now. My confidence level goes up and down. This is much needed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Sean, I love this, dude. LOL at your beliefs from an elevated position. Dude, it's so funny, man. I mean, that's why everybody at any level, like you pay for a coach or a mentor because they see things from an elevated position. They see things from a different vantage point. They see what you're doing. They see how you're spending your time. They see what you're spending your energy on. They see what you're prioritizing. And being able to approach your life and your business from a different perspective and completely rearrange the way that you're thinking about and executing on things will absolutely not only get you the momentum you are looking for, but it will challenge and helping you overcome these limiting beliefs. That's such a huge thing. Thank you. Ooh, okay. Angel said, ask why you believe, where the belief is rooted, and how you work through it. So let's even take this a step further here real quick, guys. I don't have a big board, so I might have to erase some stuff, but I'm going to try to jot down some stuff where I can. So let's try, if we're going to reframe something, I love this word. I love this word reframe. If you're going to reframe something, that means let's take a negative belief and let's replace it with an empowering one. So when we challenge or we reframe our limiting beliefs, guys, we question their validity and consider the evidence that contradicts them. So like I said, 85% of the things that people are worried about when they think about the future that never happen, what would happen if you were to write those things down and then you actually took some time to challenge their validity? What would happen if you actually took the time to talk to people or ask questions that contradict those beliefs? These are one of those things that's so important. That's why I have my students in an accountability group. If there's anybody in here that's in an accountability group, these are perfect things to be bringing up in your accountability group. Share these things. Identify and acknowledge. Start writing down what your guys' limiting beliefs are. And then step 2, start taking those limiting beliefs and challenge them. Start asking, hey, are these beliefs valid? Is there any evidence that contradicts them? So that's challenge. And then I want you guys to start reframing them. So as an example, let's say you take a, let's say you're being given new information. And these are things that are just so foreign to you. The concepts are so foreign and they're so massive that right off the get-go, we have these limiting beliefs that says, I can't do this. By a show of hands or in the comments, is there anybody that has ever felt just like this? I'll wait. Let me know in the comments. Is there anybody that has ever jumped into any part of real estate? And at first, when you jumped in, you were all excited because, right, you started out in step 1 of that emotional cycle of change. You started out in this optimistic viewpoint, but you don't even know what you're doing. All you see is you get on IG and you see people in real estate. It's just 1, 2, 3 Lamborghini. So we're all excited. And then we start figuring out that, oh, this is, in order to get to where I'm trying to go, these are some of the things that I have to do. So then you move to step 2 in that emotional cycle of change. So you go from step 1, which is uninformed optimism. You don't know what you're about to jump into. And then you jump into step 2, you start learning a little bit more information. And you're like, oh, wow. Which is step 2, by the way, is informed pessimism. You start gaining a little bit more clarity, start getting a little bit more information. And you're like, oh, wow, I can't do this. Sean Clark. So everybody watching right now, Sean Clark is the only one that has ever had this thought of, I can't do this. So Sean, let me know in the comments, Sean, how do you think we could reframe this? When you have this thought, when you have this limiting belief, we're going to challenge it. But how can we reframe it from, I can't do this? Does this make sense? We just reframed a limiting belief. I can't do this. And what you need to reframe it as, what you need to start writing down is, I'm learning how to do this. Let me repeat this one more time. I know you guys have heard this from me before. Most people, let's say over 90%, overestimate what they can do in the short term. That means most people overestimate what they can do in the short term. That means that in 2 weeks, or in 4 weeks, or in 8 weeks, or in 3 months, they're like, oh my gosh, why am I not a millionaire yet? For some reason, I don't know why, it's like this nowhere else. To be a nurse, you got to go to school for 4 years. To be an attorney, you got to go to school for more than that. To be a doctor, you have to go to medical school for 8 years. And then what? You have another 2 years after that. So you got to go to school and basically you have that 2 years. I don't know. I forgot what they call it, but it's basically like an internship. So you got to go to school for 10 years. And then you're the bottom guy on the totem pole. And everybody accepts that. And in addition to that, you're out $250,000 in freaking school fees. And people want to come in and jump into real estate and make way more money, which you can in way less time. But for some reason, we think that we have to do this in 3 months. And because we don't understand it, or we have these limiting beliefs, or think that we should be further along than we are, or we compare ourselves to where anybody else is, it keeps us from doing the thing that we should be doing. The way that you measure success is not by comparing yourself to other people. The way that you measure success is comparing, do you know more than you did last week? If you do, and you're taking action on it, then you're doing the right thing. You're moving. The only way you should be panicking, the only time that you should be thinking this is when you start to notice that you are in the same place you were last week. You did not learn one more thing. You did not take action on one more thing. When you are in the same position that you were a month ago and you didn't learn one more thing, yes, then I can see this being valid. But then you reframe it and you say, hey, I'm learning how to do this. And you have to start learning something. You have to start taking action on something. And as long as you continue to do this, gosh damn, man, you won't even recognize where you will be a year from now. Think about all of these things. Think about everything that you guys have learned this year so far. Let's even take today. Let's take June 8th of today. And screw what you think you should or where you should be in the next 4 weeks. Who gives a shit? Who cares where you think you should be in the next 4 or 5 months? I challenge you guys. Practice these things. Do not commit to this. Erase this from your vocabulary. Focus on this. And as long as you are progressing every week, as long as you don't have 2 weeks that are the exact same, you will not believe what you could accomplish by June 8th of next year. If you're having money problems right now, you will not believe the position you will be in 12 months. Stop thinking that you need to be a millionaire in 8 weeks. Stop thinking that you need to be a millionaire in 6 months. Now, some of you guys, I get it. I've been there. Some of you guys are like, well, I've been doing this and hustling this the last couple years and it's just not working out for me. Great. Are you learning something over the last couple years? Have you made it a conscientious effort to identify why you think a certain way, to document it, to challenge the information, to reframe those thoughts? Have you made a conscious effort to guarantee that each week is not stagnant, that each week, even if it's one thing, you learned and implemented something else that week, you will not believe where you will be in 12 months, in 1 year. Give yourself some fucking grace. Give yourself the opportunity to get out here and to fail. Acknowledge what those thoughts are. They're okay that you have them. I get it. A lot of times we have thoughts that pop in our head. Have you guys ever had somebody tell you, don't think about a purple elephant? It's like, oh, damn it. I thought about a purple elephant. A lot of times these thoughts that come into our head, a lot of these limiting beliefs that come into our head, the very first thought that happens, I get it. A lot of times we can't control our thoughts. They just happen. But here's what you can control. And here's where you need to stop being a victim. Here's where you need to take fucking responsibility. You can control the second thought. I'll give you a pass on the first one. I get it. Just part of human nature. You have 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. You're not going to control every single one of them. What you can control is the second thought. You can control how you thought about that first thought. You can control the emotion around it. You can control the validity of it. You can reframe that first thought. You can do all this with your second thought. You can change it from this to this. Okay, I know we're going a little long today, but I hope, is this helping anybody, first and foremost? I know we're going 1 hour and 16 minutes. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'm going to give you guys step 3. Is this helping you guys? Is this giving you guys a peace of mind? Is this giving you guys information that you didn't have? Is this giving you guys reassurance that what you're doing, you're on the right path, guys? You guys are so close. You guys are capable of so much more than you freaking believe. I know, because to an extent, I've been where you guys are. Sure, I haven't been in your exact shoes, in your exact circumstances. But in terms of having these types of feelings, in terms of not having money, in terms of feeling like you just don't have the resources, guys, I live in freaking Alaska, for goodness sakes. Talk about somebody who is in a land where I can't go anywhere in the state and sit down and have lunch with somebody who's doing what I want to be doing, because there's nobody that I have found in this entire freaking state, the biggest state in the entire freaking, but I figured out how I can solve that problem. Maybe it's not in person. Maybe I need to travel more. Maybe I need to be a bit more intentional with who I'm meeting virtually so I can get the result that I need. That's why I pay for coaching and mentorships of my own. I will absolutely have a chapter in my book on this topic. Thank you, Giselle. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's continue on. See if my camera can find. This is a badass camera, isn't it? Isn't that dope? Doing it by itself. Okay. Step 3. Very, very simple. I'm going to erase this. So I hope you guys have written this stuff down. Take action and reinforce new beliefs. Confidence is built through taking action. Actually, you know what? Let me write that one down. That's good. That's good. Confidence is built through taking action. You can't learn to drive a parked car. You're not going to get confident driving a car that is not moving. The way that we build this confidence through action We have to first identify a goal. We then have to break that goal up into very small steps, bite-sized steps. We have to focus on one thing at a time. To everybody who loves to multitask, let me just tell you guys right now, stop multitasking. Focus on one thing at a time. Move your business forward 1 week at a time. If there's only one thing that you guys do each and every week, that is a freaking win. That is how you go from I can't do this to I'm learning how to do this. Focus on one thing a week. That's how you break this entire, not multiple things. Don't juggle all these things. Focus on one thing a week. If the bottleneck in your business is you and you just need to bring somebody else in, just make that the one thing that you focus on. If you need to let everything else go just so you can unkink that kink in the hose, then do it. Put the rake down so you can walk over and follow the hose to wherever it's kinked and unkink it. Once you unkink that hose, you're able to now hand your rake off to somebody else, or you can hand them the garden hose. Confidence is built through taking action. We got to first have a goal of what it is we're trying to do, regardless of your limiting beliefs around it. That's where it starts. When we set these big goals, and through small, consistent action, we not only set these bite-sized tasks for us to continue tackling, but we start to build up our accountability. We start to build up our confidence. We start to build up the people around us. We start to build up our team. So if you have this big goal that you want to achieve, and you have to break this down into bite-sized pieces, if you're only going to have this much done in 4 weeks or 8 weeks or 6 months, because this is what you have to do in order to digest it, guys, that's a freaking win. Stop thinking that you need to be a surgeon in 2 weeks or 6 months or hell, even a year. Because we have these thoughts and we think that we should be further ahead and we're consistently comparing ourselves to other people. We're not taking the time to understand our internal dialogue here. We're not taking time to understand how we think and why we think this way. That's why people say you become the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Because your limiting thoughts are based off of the environment that you engulf yourself in. If you had 5 other friends that were making 6 and 7 figures a month, how fast do you think you would transform, you would step into that person that's also capable of making 6 and 7 figures a month? Do you consistently hang around other people that are at your level? Do you inadvertently take on other people's limiting beliefs? These small things add up. When you hang around somebody who says, oh man, I just don't understand this, I just don't get this, do you not think to some extent that you digested that seed? Even if you didn't acknowledge it, even if you don't know you did, that seed is now planted in there. And it is now a part of your 80 to 90,000 thoughts that you have a day. There's so much of everything that we went through today that also ties in to your guys' income, it ties into your environment, the people that you surround yourself with. You almost have a responsibility to brainwash yourself, because none of us were taught this stuff growing up. None of us were taught about wealth and about money and about self-development and our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. We think that we just have to work hard and then we make money. That's not it at all. If that was it, there's so many hardworking people. All of you in here, I guarantee you, all of you guys are hardworking. I guarantee you guys are willing to go the distance. I'm willing to bet that everybody in here, if they knew that, hey, I just have to work 100 hours a week, 120 hours a week, and at the end of X amount of weeks or X amount of years, then I'll make the kind of money that I want. I guarantee if that was the case, then all of you guys in here would do it. So if hardworking enough if hardworking alone is not enough, then there's something else that has to change. There's a reason why people who win the lottery and then lose it, they never gain it back again. They don't understand this type of stuff. If somebody wins the lottery, they get all this money. Forget them not even knowing the fact. Let's pretend this person doesn't even know anything about money. They don't even know how to invest it or what they would even do with it. Let's just talk about this type of stuff. Let's talk about the individual themselves. If somebody wins the lottery, are they even somebody who can handle that kind of fucking pressure? Are they somebody who can handle news outlets coming to them? Are they somebody that can handle all their friends wanting money from them now? Are they somebody that can handle all their neighbors coming into them now? Are they somebody who can handle their family thinking that they're entitled to that money? Can they handle themselves? No. Most people cannot. As a matter of fact, when people come into large sums of money, in their head, they're already spending it before they've even got the check. They're already thinking of debt they can pay off and credit cards they can pay off and then other stupid shit that they can buy. On top of everybody else wanting a piece of their money too. Give yourself some grace today, guys. Know that I've got you. There isn't one person that's watching this now or will be watching this in the future that I would not be willing to help. I know what it's like to be in those shoes. I know what it's like to have these thoughts and these feelings. But I also know what each and every one of you are capable of. And I know that because just the fact that you're here says so much about who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. The fact that you're here on a Saturday, it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. The fact that you're here on a Saturday afternoon, it literally screams so much about who you are as an individual. The fact that you've stayed with me for an hour and a half now says so much about who you are. Sure, I don't know your circumstances. I don't have that personal of a relationship with a lot of you. Mainly because I live in Alaska. But I have a keen ability to understand what your potential is and what you're trying to accomplish. You guys all have the ability to do great things. There are people that are depending on you to wake up and become the person that you're meant to be so that you can help them. You have an obligation to those people, and not only those people, to your family. Your family is waiting for you to figure this shit out. And you know what? Some of you guys, your family might not even support you figuring this stuff out because they might be like, hey, I thought we were going to spend time together as a family today. Isn't that ironic? You'll have family and people that are depending on you to become that type of person so that you can serve them and take care of them. But at the same time, they don't understand everything that you're going to be going through. They don't understand all these things. And that's why there's a 1%. It's important that we all stick together, that we all learn together, that we all grow together, that we all continue having these types of conversations together so that we all benefit. Sean said, great live today. Thanks, Jesse. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Giselle says, 100% sure. I add pressure to myself. All I do is I think of my kid's future. I can 100% resonate with that, Giselle. 100%. Thank you. Thank you guys for giving me some of your guys' time today. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome day. For those of you guys that are in sub 2, Chris and I will be doing a Zoom in sub 2. We do a Zoom in sub 2 every Saturday in 55 minutes called Growing Your Business. So if you guys are in sub 2, you guys want to go over there, I'll see you guys in a little under an hour. But other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope this was super helpful. I hope you guys take this information and go take action on it. Make sure that next week you're doing at least one thing to push the needle forward, something that was different than you did this week. With that, guys, hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Thank you. I love you again, and thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Until next time.